Hi guys, I hope you're having a wonderful day today. Let's get into these energies of love and romance. See what you need to know at this time. Okay, so the first one we have is the word. So this feels like somebody is getting ready to divulge a truth to you. They've been practicing, they've been rehearsing, they've been scripting what they want to say. They want to get it just right. A big important conversation, or for some of you, this is somebody that wants to say, I love you for the first time. I'm kind of drawn to the fact, and you can probably see my breath. Here in my office, it's very cold. I just opened the windows to kind of like let a little bit of the outside air sort of circulate in. And so this kind of feels relevant even to the energies right now. Somebody that has maybe had cold feet as far as approaching you up to this point in time. There's a sense that when they build up this kind of like energy or momentum to say something, it comes out wrong, or they've got this big speech rehearsed and planned, and then they come around you and it's just icy. Very kind of cold, very crisp communication, very minimal communication. So they're warming up to kind of still some sort of nervousness inside of themselves so that they can have hearing an actual conversation with you. So maybe this is someone that's just been kind of like lurking around in the friend zone. Somebody that you might not be in a romantic relationship with. This could be like someone that has a crush on you or a secret admirer. And they've tried to approach you under the guise of, maybe a client, maybe a customer, someone that's just trying to be friendly, but there are deeper feelings for you. And so there's a sense of like, I just have to get this out. I have to say this. I can't allow this nervousness to kind of make me tongue-tied or make me sort of freeze up inside. They see you as someone who's very hot, very magnetic, very inviting. And so there's this energy of like, I want to come in close. I am drawn to you like a moth to a flame. It feels like you could warm this person's heart. You could warm them out of a period even of being kind of shut down emotionally. This person might have gone through a bad breakup recently, or even in like the distant past, where they kind of just shut down, sort of focused on things other than love and romance, maybe developed kind of a pessimistic attitude, and then you come into their life almost like the sun, kind of bringing warmth, exuding this radiance, and there's a sense like, I have to have this person, I have to come in closer. I made a promise to myself that I'm done with love, I'm not going to let anyone get that close to hurt me again, and they kept that promise for a while, and now you have showed up in their reality, and it's like, okay, let me rethink that in some sort of way. So this is someone that finds you very attractive. They're very attracted to your energy, your essence, the way you speak, the way your mind works. And so there's a sense of like, I want to come in closer and get to know you better. And we also have the shadow. Yeah, so this is somebody who is fighting this kind of like urge to run every time they are near you. This is something where they may be very intimidated by your beauty, by your energy, by your intelligence, by the way you carry yourself, by your confidence, whatever status that you hold socially, professionally, in whatever way they have kind of like come into contact with you up to this point. There's a sense of like they've made enough excuses, or they've kind of lurked in the shadows for long enough. And there's this essence of, I don't know what I'm so afraid of. I don't know what I'm so intimidated by. They seem like a nice person. They seem like a good person. They're very friendly. They're very open. They're very warm. This is what I need in my life at this particular point in time. And so this is somebody that's trying to push themselves outside of their comfort zone. They are sensing or anticipating that you're single, or they're hoping that you're single, you're available, you'd be interested in someone like them. And there's a sense of like, I won't know unless I take that leap of faith. I won't know unless I take a chance on this situation. And I don't just want to be kind of like out in the cold, out in this kind of like shadowy energy forever. I don't want to have to just keep these feelings all bottled up. But every time I've tried to say something up to this point, every time I've tried to approach this person before, it's come out wrong, or all of that kind of enthusiasm that they develop within themselves. It's like they freeze up when they are in your presence. So this is somebody that is really mustering a lot of courage, to kind of break the ice between the two of you, maybe ask you out, or, again, kind of profess something a little bit deeper, give you more than just a hint or an indicator of their interest, even if that's just been, showing up at the workplace, standing near you, or being near you in some kind of social setting, a friendship circle perhaps. This is somebody that's like, okay, I want to step beyond the confines of our dynamic in that particular sense, and I want to explore what more is possible here. And we also have elephant. Yeah, so the elephant in the room is the fact that they are attracted to you. They got feelings for you. They find you to have a very delicious vibe, something that, is like coaxing them out of this energy of just being an observer. There's a sense of like wisdom that you exude. There's a sense that you feel so familiar to them in terms of the vibe that you give off, the energy that you carry, or whatever you have going on in your life that has kind of brought them into your world, into your reality. There's a sense of like soul familiarity. Like, this feels like the direction I need to move in. I've lived long enough with my energy shut down, with my heart shut off in this kind of like cold and almost, frozen kind of energy, that there's the sense of you are ushering this person forward just by being yourself into like a new experience of, maybe it's not too late for love. Maybe it's not too late for me to, experience something more beautiful than what the past has shown me. So they are getting ready to kind of address that elephant in the room. It feels like when this person speaks their truth to you, it's going to explain a lot of things as far as any kind of awkwardness that you might have sensed from them. This would be the kind of person who would be like, I didn't think they liked me at all. Maybe this is someone that, you started to kind of get to know, you had like a brief talking stage, or it seemed like when you first met that there was some degree of interest or enthusiasm, and then they just shut down. And so you've kind of chalked it up to like, well, I guess they didn't like me. I guess they weren't interested in me. I guess I was too much for this individual and they wanted to go find less. And so it's like you've shifted your approach in some sort of way, or you've like responded to the energy that they put down in this circumstance. And there's a sense of them feeling they might have given you the wrong impression, or they're not really sure why. They were so enthusiastic at first, and then they got scared. They were wanting to move forward with things with you, and then they kind of like detoured in some sort of way. So there's an essence of like not wanting to address that necessarily directly, but wanting to kind of show up with a changed approach that is going to help you to kind of be able to see like, oh, okay, they were maybe just intimidated. They needed to kind of just level up. They approached me in a certain energy, or came into my life in a certain energy within themselves, and all of the silence, all of the kind of like cold or closed sort of energy, there's a lot going on behind the scenes in terms of trying to rise to that occasion, to meet you at the level that you are operating at, that you're vibrating at. So this is like a big act of bravery for this person. It feels like to, make some kind of declaration to you, open up again as far as communication is concerned, be consistent where they were kind of like vague or elusive before. So let's get a couple tarot cards and sort of see what else you need to know about this. Okay, we've got the Seven of Swords. Yeah, so this person has been being sneaky with you in terms of like, they don't just want to be a friend. They're not just showing up in your work, in your shop, in your place of business with the interest of, buying what you have to sell, or, being a consumer or a customer or a client. There's a sense of like, I love to watch you work. I love to watch you do your thing. I love to be in your presence, but I want to have something more. I want to experience something more. I want to get to know you on a different level. Yeah, we've got the Empress. So they are absolutely dazzled by you. I almost said in love with you, but it feels like this is an energy or be a little too premature for that. But this is something that's like, yeah, I could definitely see myself falling in love with this person, and it would be a beautiful experience. This is something where you've been almost like a forbidden fruit for them. They might have thought that you were like out of their league in a lot of ways. And so this is somebody who's been going through a personal growth arc as far as their narrative is concerned. So when you first encountered this person, when you first crossed paths with this person, they may have been operating a lot within ego. They were very headstrong. They were very certain. They were very like, okay, I'm attracted to this individual. I'm just going to rush in there and kind of do my thing. I'm going to razzle and dazzle them. And you know, they're going to be, you know, totally smitten with me. And it feels like the opposite happened. You know, you presented a very different vibe up close and personal than what the first impression gave. And it feels like it humbled this person in a way that's like, oh my gosh, I need to sort of rethink my strategy. I need to, you know, kind of evolve in some sort of way. I need to open up, because the intensity of being in your presence, being near you, having any kind of like a conversation or experience with them, it's made them very nervous. But there's a sense of like, I don't want to let that stop me. I don't want to let these nerves kind of have me miss out on this opportunity with this person. So get ready for kind of a show of affection, a display of honesty or effort that had been lacking from this person previously. And finally, we have the Three of Swords. Yeah, so this is somebody that, you know, doesn't want to miss out on an opportunity with you. It's like it would be heartbreaking if this always just entered the realm of what if and they never did anything about it. So this is somebody that is getting ready to kind of come out from in the cold. They're getting ready to sort of turn this situation around. You've activated something within this person's heart chakra, and there's a sense of like, I can't just sort of let this moment pass me by. I can't just sit here and wonder what if. Let's get a few message cards from this person's higher self and see what they want you to know at this time. Okay, and they say, I have regrets. Yeah, so this is somebody that feels like they fumbled the ball in this situation. They've not given you quite the right idea about them or their intentions. You know, this may have been something where they were very warm, very open. They might have made the first move towards you only to kind of buckle or pull away, or it's been very unclear kind of like what their intentions are. They've just been sort of swimming at the surface. There's something deeper that they feel for you, and so there's a sense of like, I want an opportunity to make a second first impression. I moved forward with ego and realized that there was something in the essence of my soul that needed to be kind of brought forth into more of the dominant reality of how they're moving through their life in general, or just as far as the approach with you is concerned, where they've had to kind of jimmy the lock as far as their heart is concerned in order to open up to the nature of what can be experienced between the two of you emotionally. If you say yes and you go out with them, if you know, you start having like a more personal conversation and things go well, if one thing leads to another, and then all of a sudden somebody who has sworn off relationships or dating, or is like, I'm never going to love again, and all of a sudden something develops between the two of you in a very beautiful way. This is somebody who's been getting ready behind the scenes for that. So for a lot of you, kind of get ready for not even so much a reemergence of someone, but someone that's going to change their approach to you, someone that's in kind of your environment, in your orbit. They're around you in some sort of way. Maybe this is someone on social media, but it feels more likely this is someone in like your physical reality, where they are now just a face in the crowd. You thought there was potential. Now they've gone back to just being, you know, part of the people that are in your environment in some sort of way, but they're wanting to kind of turn that around and have like another opportunity to sort of move in closer. Yeah, and they say, I made the wrong choice. So this is something where they almost feel very foolish for the fact that they could have gotten very nervous, you know, kind of like heart racing, getting butterflies, you know, feeling that words were kind of failing them. And they took that to be some sort of red flag, like, ooh, I'm feeling nervous around this person. Maybe this is a sign this isn't good for me. And they sort of backed off. And there's a sense that upon further observation, upon further examination of this, upon kind of like sitting in that energy of whatever was triggered within them, or whatever even has them in the sense of like, anytime I'm near you, anytime I, you know, think of reaching out, anytime I have like an encounter of you or someone mentions you, there's a very palpable reaction inside of them that is kind of like, you know, they're rehearsing what they want to say, but then there's this energy of like over perfection, and all it might be is just kind of, how's it going? How have you been? What have you been up to? Something very simple, it feels like, is they're equating that with like a really big conversation. And so they've moved beyond the threshold in some sort of way of like a trust issue, or like a fear of being hurt or rejected or abandoned that could have caused them to kind of like be enthusiastic towards you only to retreat within themselves. There's a sense that they picked that apart a little bit And there's a sense of like, whatever, I need to take a chance here. If this, crashes and burns, it crashes and burns. If this is successful and it turns into something beautiful, then that's great. So this is someone that's pushing themselves beyond that threshold to reach out, to break the ice, to say something. We also have, I see things differently now. So this again is somebody who has had an evolution within themselves. They've had an epiphany. They have awakened to something that it's like, okay, I've tried to shove these feelings away. I've tried to just sort of like stay within the friend zone, stay within the comfort zone, stay within that sort of lurker, watcher, secret admirer, crush energy, and it is no longer sufficient. I'm not satisfied with that. They're being very hard on themselves too, almost like if you don't say or do something, then you're just a coward. Like, get in there and say something. What are you so afraid of? You're a grown-up. You've been through the ringer, the ups and downs as far as love and life is concerned. What are you afraid of this person for? What are you afraid of these feelings for? So it's like an act of bravery on their part to push beyond the comfort zone, push beyond that threshold of just sort of sitting at a distance and chalking this up to be some kind of regret. And so whatever they're getting ready to like say or do, it feels like it's going to be the word that's coming through is remarkable. So maybe something where like, I never thought I'd hear from that person again. You just sort of chalked it up to a loss or just kind of, swiped it away and sort of went about your life. And so the fact that they're knocking on the door again, it's like, oh, there you are. What are you doing here? Kind of, what do you have to say now? Like, you've already just sort of come to the place that's like a very legitimate assumption of they're not interested, they don't want to be consistent. Maybe you just sort of equated that with like, I guess I'm not their type, I guess I'm not what they're looking for, just whatever that looks like. But the opposite is in fact true. They are deeply attracted to you. They're very enamored with you. And so there's a sense that it's taking a lot for them to kind of push beyond that energy of defeat and kind of just leaving the situation alone, because they want to talk to you. They want to get to know you. They want to spark something between the two of you or kindle that flame that they feel is inside of themselves as far as what you do to them when they're around you, when they think about you, or even have surface level conversations. They want to get in deeper. They want to move in closer. They want to see if there's some potential between the two of you to have a beautiful experience with one another. So those are your messages. I hope that they resonated with you and that you enjoyed the reading. If you'd like a personal reading, there's a link for that below. I hope to see you again in another video. Please take care and be well.